Israel R sends in $10 and says, Disney Marvel with egg on their face and Daily Wire doing their own Snow White. Wow. Maybe more movements like these will at least have some positive impact on this clown world. And you know what, ladies and gents, that brings us off to our first topic. Israel R, you've read my mind.
I told you.
Oh my God. Buddy.
Run it again.
That's pretty. So anyway, ladies and gents, for those, some people are acting a bit confused. The Daily Wire is making their own Snow White. Okay, so what is it? It's a Snow White movie from the Daily Wire, right? Snow White and the Evil Queen. Brett Cooper is Snow White. And look, all in all, you know what? It's not terrible. So where is it?
Oh, I thought that was Ben Shapiro.
Oh. Yeah, it does. But that's the thing that they always say, is that it looks like Ben Shapiro in drag. But let's just quickly watch this without music or anything like that. Let's just have a quick watch. You won't be able to hear anything anyway. This is just for me, so I don't have to listen to this crap. So this is what they released. I don't like this pan away. I just think that's super lame. I like the fact they're using an actual squirrel. I think that's real.
CGI.
Is real. Is it?
Oh, those are CGI, but they're really good CGI.
Good.
Yeah, I'll give them that. That's about the thing I'll give them props for. Otherwise, this looks like a soap commercial.
And then I don't like this.
And she is way too old to be playing Snow White. Nothing personal.
Yeah, well, wait, because all the simps will come in and tell you off. All right,
let them.
So
I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and suck on it just because it's done by the Daily Wire.
No, but a lot of people are. That's the point, right? A lot of people are. So, what is this? This is their answer to Snow White. My personal thoughts are they've got significantly more money than they're pouring into this. The CGI does look good. I'll give them that, right? Because I thought that was real. Hold my hands up. It convinced me.
I'm pretty sure it's CGI, real. But yeah, it's really good CGI.
Hey, tell you what, it's bloody good going. I will say this, and I've said it before in my video, and I'll make the point here. When she turns around and you know it's Brett Cooper, it looks like satire. They should not have used a host. And I said in my video they should have used an actor. And loads of people have flamed me. They've gone, she is an actor. It's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is you shouldn't be using a host on one of your shows in there, even if they are an actor or not, because it devalues your product and it delegitimizes it. What you should be doing to broaden your target market is hiring someone within the acting unions, within that world, within that space, to at least broaden your market, broaden your scope. So you're not doing that. You're also not giving a job to someone in that world, in those unions, you know, in the Hollywood space that is right-leaning, that otherwise wouldn't be able to talk about their political leanings otherwise. I just think it devalues it, hiring Brett Cooper. Now, side note, she might do a fantastic job, but it does look a bit cheap, and it does look a bit like satire when she turns around. Two things can be true. Two things can be true. I want them to do well, of course, because it's pissing in Disney's face. However, they shouldn't have hired Brett Cooper. Two things can be true. I can want them to do well, but they shouldn't have hired Brett Cooper. Two things, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree.
Simultaneously, at the same time, exist.
It comes off like a nepotism project or whatever you want to call it, the fact that she's in it. I agree. And I don't know her history. I did read that she was an actress before becoming a commentator and a YouTuber. So unless she was drove out of the industry because of her beliefs, I'm going to go out on a limb and say she probably didn't make it because she just didn't have the shit to you know, become an actress. Look, you can still be likable. You can still be a commentator. You can still do other things. But it takes a, you know, as Paul Chatto calls it, that secret jelly, right? You have to have that secret jelly that just gets people to go, okay, wow, I want to watch that person act. Now, people are telling me she's 22 in the chat. She looks 42 here, folks. I don't know
So she
anything
does
about her
not
other
look
than
young here.
she does not look, and that's the thing is, and I'm not trying to be all like ageist or anything like that, but Snow White in the books is actually really young. In
Yeah.
like in all the other incarnations we've seen in the past, they've aged her up a little bit, but she's still generally in that, you know, 15, 16 year age range. Because that's the whole point is she's becoming a woman, and you know, up to that point, the queen was always the fairest of the land. Now that Snow White has becoming a woman now, or on the cusp of, she's now
Mm.
the fairest of the land, so the mirror
Yeah,
can't
that's
lie to her
fine.
anymore. You know,
Yeah.
so to me, that is part of the problem. The other problem is the CGI is great. All that kind of stuff looks great, but the cinematography and the way it's shot, I agree with you, Mr. H. It looks like a soap commercial. It looks like
It's very, very cheap. I mean,
or something.
let's scroll down. Let's have a look, because they'll have. Does it? So it won't tell you. It won't tell you the frame rate, will it? But so looking at this, let's analyze the frame rate here.
See, this doesn't look so bad. This looks more filmic, but when you get
Well,
closer on the
just
close-ups,
this
see that
here,
looks more
right?
like video. Yeah, see.
Well, that looks like 60 frames a second,
Yeah.
right? Which is standard sitcom frame rate.
Yeah.
And I know loads of people will be like, why are you talking about frame rate? Because it matters.
24 frames per second. Yeah.
Yeah. And that matters because it adds a nice motion blur that has been universally agreed upon that it is very pleasing to the eye.
We've had this conversation a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
Not you and I, Nate, but we have on our 4K channel, Culture and I have on other shit, but yeah.
It's too quick, it's too crisp. I like that. I like the you know, let's talk from a technical perspective, right? I like the I don't like anything about the framing or anything like that, but I do like the lens choice with the focal length, right? The focal length's quite nice with the background completely bokeh out, completely blurred out. Quite nice, not bad. But this just drifting off into the, it's just it's like he just listed to the side. I mean, sure, fine, whatever. It's just not, it doesn't look that great as a result of it. But I still want it to do well. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gents. I still do want it to do well.
I'm not so sure they should have made it a musical either. Because that's her singing in the trailer, by the way.
Is it actually her singing?
Yeah, that's what people are saying, yeah.
Oh.
And to me, the music comes off like you're just trying to mimic Disney's music.
But again, the thing is, I bring this all back to the fact that she's a political pundit on YouTube. And the thing is, right, because loads of people, because I replied to someone earlier, like before I went on this stream, and someone said, oh, well, actually, their target demographic, I'm not going to know she's in this. I'm like, yeah, you are, because their target demographic is solely the Daily Wire watchers, because this will be behind a paywall. It won't be released mainstream or wide. And that is, again, another reason why it's part of, like, it's a problem. You know, you should have hired an actress where you could then launch this out at least with a limited release in theaters, or at least a limited release wider. Now it's you are the target demographic. It's going to stay within this Daily Wire bubble, and that's bad. That doesn't help anything. It's not counter programming at that point, because it's just a bubble of the Daily Wire. Great for the Daily Wire, not great for the actual culture, the actual wider culture that we discuss. Actually, it's terrible for that because it doesn't touch it. Right? It's just behind a paywall. That's it. Done. Who's going to watch it? Well, sure, fine. Daily Wire subscribers. That's it.
Well, I guess they do have a new kids version of their app, or family version of their app. Culture might know a little bit more about that than I do.
Yeah.
But it's the same point, though, isn't it? Because
it is. I agree. You have a problem there.
The people that are subscribed already to the Daily Wire, so it's still within that bubble, and so that's the problem. You know, that's my issue with it. I guess it largely is that it doesn't. This is great for them, and it's great for people that are already subscribed to the Daily Wire, but it's not great for anything else, largely, broadly speaking. Be different if it was released publicly in theaters, then it would make a bigger impact.
I was going to say, I have a feeling they may drop it like for free on X for like 24 hours or something like that. Because didn't they do that with the Woman movie or whatever?
They did.
Yeah, but it got binned off initially first, didn't it?
But then it got more attention because Elon put it back on, and he, supposedly took care of business. Whoever took it down.
The reason why the Sound of Freedom did so well was because it was public. It was in theaters.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This will not have any impact on the culture at large that we talk about, the culture itself. It won't have any impact at all. And it looks like satire. Like when she turns around again, I mean, I don't think this is CG.
I'm pretty friggin' sure it's CG.
Well,
there's
anyway,
some telltale signs of it.
When she turns around, it just looks satirical.
It does. But as far as the CGI thing, yeah, I got into it with Gary Tunnicliffe once, and he kept sending me images until he just stopped because I think I got him all right. Because he's like, hilarious. You can't tell. I'm like, yes, I can.
Culture, you said nothing on this, mate. Speak up.
Well, okay, let's speak about this. I don't necessarily agree that there's an age range involved here.
Well, we need an echo chamber here, bitch. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't do that. But to me, she looks fine. I can't argue with your point about they should have used somebody different that doesn't work for them already. I think that does take away from it. But we're seeing a 1 minute clip or 50-second clip, right? Yeah, so I can't possibly evaluate her acting ability or anything. I can tell you right now, absent the wonderful appearance from a cinematography level, I would say that you're right. The frame rate is going to be a problem if they shot it all like this. And this is one of the problems that I think nascent entrants into film don't understand. There is a way that things are supposed to look, and this doesn't follow that. This is like a soap opera. Tom's right. If you were watching on like here locally on NBC, you'd be seeing something in 4K HD 60 frames a second, and it would look too clear. You don't have the romance of the blur as you were talking about because of what you get with 24 frames. You can still shoot it at that high frame rate, but you need to dial it back. You also could have added a filter or a film look that would have also sorted that out. Is this a little cheesy? Yes. Is it supposed to be? Probably. Is it oriented around kids? Of course it is. I mean, the idea is to teach truth. And I can't argue with people saying that she has a resemblance to Shapiro. But she's colored.
I'm Snow White, okay? My skin is white as snow. It's fair. So that's why they call me Snow White. I'm a princess.
I don't think that you. I don't think you actually do my voice very well. I'm very frustrated with you trying to imitate me because I think it's very poorly done. Well, and
Max don't care about your feelings.
That makes me enraged, and I'm gonna send the ADL after you. Yes, I am.
And they're not dwarves; they're little people.
Anyway,
they're not underage; they're minors. They work in a mine.
Oh my god.
Look! I don't think you quite understand. These are definitely dwarfs that are going to be in this show, and I'm bringing the cottage back. I'm bringing it all back. I'm going to make it happen in this film. You're going to enjoy it. The kids are going to love it. We're going to have
the hero might not have anything to do with this movie. We're just fucking around.
We're going to have one of the dwarfs that's going to look just like Trump. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be huge. That's right. Yeah.
Oh dear. Right. I mean, look, you are right though. In terms of like a bit cheesy, it's supposed to be a bit cheesy. Sure, you can still make it look good though. There's no excuse for it not looking good, especially when Gareth Edwards just made the creator for $80 million and released it in theaters.
Hey,
just buy a better camera, buy a better cinematographer. It's not that difficult,
dude. I'm telling you right now, I've got to buy one of those FX6 rigs now. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, if I have extra money, I want one of
that,
these.
or just get that camera. Get the camera that they should use. The camera that Gareth Edwards used. That's Sony.
What I just said.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah. I'm just being retarded.
Yeah, I mean, look. At the end of the day, I think for them to be taken seriously with movies, this is the larger point about because this is fine, whatever, right? We can critique it all we want for now, but if they want to be taken seriously with movies, you don't use your political pundits, no matter what background they have in your products. I made a joke in the video. It'd be like seeing Matt Walsh play the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. It's just jarring. It's weird. right? It comes across cheap and satirical.
We all know Alex Jones would play the Beast anyway.
Oh yeah, he was definitely the Beast.
You're the Beauty. I'm gonna eat your ass.
Wow.
More ways than one. And then,
wow.
So, but yeah, you're never going to be taken seriously. And for this, because everyone's going, well, you know, they're going to really stick it to Disney. Stop. You're making a fool out of yourself. This will be behind a paywall. It will make no impact on the culture remotely. It's not sticking it to Disney at all. You're embarrassing yourself by saying, you know, that this is going to make waves in the industry, all these kind of things. It's not, you know.
No, Disney's their own worst enemy at this, basically. They should have just let Disney make their own mistake. And if Daily Wire wanted to compete with Disney, they shouldn't be doing Snow White, because the reason Snow White is a bad idea for Disney is because they have a history attached to it. The Daily Wire should just be trying to come up with their own original animated features and stuff that Disney used to do like that. Not necessarily the same thing. Come up with your own thing. You know, Shrek was like the first thing they freaked out about since the 80s. They
lost their mind, yeah.
They lost their fucking mind because that was the first time in the longest time where anybody competed with them on a level. And not only that, that movie just shat all over them. If Daily Wire wants to come up with something to go up against Disney, that's what they need to come up with, is something like Shrek. Now, not in that vein. I'm just saying they need to come up with a product like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, will they ever be taken seriously within Hollywood? That's debatable. But if you're going to at least, you should try to be taken seriously. Your product should stand on its own without fault remotely, outside of subjective matter. So, you know, hey, look, it is what it is. She's clearly more likable than Rachel Zegler. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have to tell you, I'm going to get miles out of the weird faces, so I'm stoked about that.
Oh, I love that. That is my go-to thumbnail image at the moment.
Well, and I want to be clear, I'm more for neutral entertainment. I don't want right-leaning entertainment. I don't want left-leaning entertainment. I just want, you know, neutral entertainment. Now, you can have characters that lean one way or the other. That's fine. But have it be part of the story, not like the end-all be-all. Because to me, this is almost the other side of the coin of what Disney's doing, right? They put somebody like Rachel Zegler in there, and so this is your answer to that? No, this is just dumb. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it's a good idea, because you're right, Nate.
Well, I'm gonna push back on both of you, but that's kind of my job on this one. I think there's room for this in the marketplace, and I think that you know, whether
what marketplace is that when it's not going to be released worldwide?
It's the same It's the same marketplace as HBO, Showtime, any of the premium channels that we grew up with. It is. You don't have to agree with me. It is, because
how is it the same?
Because I had to pay for HBO separately in order to consume their product. Sure. So I'm paying for Daily Wire separately so I can consume their product. And in this case,
well, I guess, okay, what kind of subscriber base do they have then, Culture?
That's what I'm referring to. They're in a different league.
They're giving me value added here. This is not their primary thing. This is a value add, right? So, and it's starting to line up with a family product that they've had in development for a while, which includes animation and some other things with Bent Key. And their goal, and again, I'm not defending them. I'm just telling you what's going on there.
I hate that name as well. Bent Key is terrible.
Regardless, the whole idea is that I'm getting a value add from whatever it is. So when I go to consume this product, if it's good, it's a win. If it's bad, I didn't lose anything. But it's just like any premium network I go, because HBO delivered great stuff and complete shit. So it's the same factor, you know, there. I stuck around for consistency with HBO way back when I was, you know, paying for that. I stuck around. I kept that subscription on my cable and my satellite. Why? Because I liked 5 or 6 of the shows. I really enjoyed Encore. I liked several of the other shows that they came up with. The Wire was fantastic. I mean, you know, they come up with great stuff, and then they have complete shit. But at the same time, I had a value add. I either had a win because I got something new that I like, or I didn't, and you know, that was that. But I'm not gonna be throwing them into the wood chipper because they tried to make make something that was different.
Saying I wouldn't say we're doing that necessarily, culture, but let me workshop this a little bit to where I think both you guys and most of the audience may agree with me on this. I don't think they should have done this as a movie. I think this should have been a short, and I think it should have been aimed at adults, and I think it should have just been like an SNL skit where they literally go through and point out the hypocrisy and the idiocracy of the Disney version. Now, if they were doing something like that, that would be in line with their remember the Daily Wire's original ads they had that one time?
Oh, yeah.
They were just hilarious. Like if they did, that's what I'm saying. You need to do that. That is your, if you're going to be political in that respect, if you're going to, even this is supposed to be, I get this is supposed to be a family thing. I see where Nate's coming from. There is no real demand for this. There's nobody out there going, you know what we need? Snow White. See, that's part of the problem with Disney's version of it, right? We already got one. Yeah, we don't need another one.
It's the same stuff we've had. It's the same stuff we've had over and over again. Right?
If Daily Wire was doing this as a joke, as a 20-minute short, I think it would come off a lot better. I think they get a lot more eyeballs on it. I think they get a lot more attention. Well. Exactly. Yeah.
It'd be online. It'd be available.
Write-ups about it and all that.
Except that,
culture.
Raise your hands if you've seen 5 or 6 different versions of Snow White and the Seven.
That's my point. We don't need another one.
Yeah, and I don't want to watch another one.
Okay, I'm just saying
that's the point, isn't it? We've seen 5 or 6 of them. I don't want to watch another one.
I was behind them when it came to that Western and the documentary about what is a woman and all that stuff. Totally behind them on that. This I don't think is a good idea for them. I just don't see it working out.
Well, look, at the end of the day, let's go down the middle where I think culture will calm down a little bit and be friendly with us again.
Dude,
this is kind of the most excited you ever get, and we don't want to get too excited.
I'm the equivalent of lithium right now.
You're gonna pee if you get any more excited.
Oh man!
But anyway, at the end of the day, they are a fledgling streamer. Sure. If you're gonna using what you're saying, culture, they're a streamer, right? Let's say that they're a fledgling streamer. There will be hits and misses along the way to their growth. Let's wait and see whether this is former or the latter. It's more content at the very least. And God loves a trier. There you go.
I love the what?
Do you agree? God, not that I'm religious, God loves a trier.
Grower, not a shower? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand.
No, a trier. You never heard that phrase? God loves a trier. No. Jesus Christ. Right. Anyway, well, that completely derailed my end of the segment. Let's move on, ladies and gents.
Oh, wait. Didn't have to
wait. It's 40 minutes into the stream. We're not going to wait.
Okay, fine.
Wait. What do you want to say? Go on.
Now it sounds like you finally came around and decided that yes, I was right. We'll wait and see what this is. So well
no, I think there's just no, because I said 2 things can be true. I can still want this. I can wish them well, but looking at this as a product right now, because people forget this material that they've released is there to be judged. So we're judging it. We are doing exactly what the material is supposed to be for, right? To judge it, and I judge it as looking cheap and almost satirical. You, on the other hand, don't. But that's the beauty of film, right? It's subjective in parts. Some of it's objective, like the frame rate. It should be a different frame rate. Absolutely.
I agree with you on all those points. Visually, we could clean this up in 5 minutes. I mean, we could take their product and clean it up.
I've got a lovely film grain. I could just put over that. It would be brilliant.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah. But yeah. At the end of the day, like I said, they are when we're saying, there's going to be some hits or misses along the way of their growth. They don't get better without our criticism. We should not be treating the Daily Wire any different than we do Disney. That's my point here. So when I released that video, so many people are like, oh, fuck you, Daily Wire. Mate, you want to go jerk off Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire? Be my guest. But they deserve every amount of criticism exactly the same way as, not you specifically, commentators, as Disney, as Warner Brothers, as any company that's making products. Because they don't improve. They're not above criticism. They should be they should all have criticism across the board. Because that's how people improve.
Yeah. I wasn't arguing that point. I'm just saying, I mean, they have not very limited history. Disney has a lengthy history. The Daily Wire hasn't made a bunch of garbage in a row. They haven't made all that much material to begin with. So.
True. True. But I hope the feedback gets back to them that they need better cinematographers, for goodness sake.
I'll tell you why you lost.
That could have been done so much easier.
I'll tell you why you lost this argument, Culture.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you're going to set him off.
Because you didn't come prepared. You didn't tell us how much this thing costs. Because if you just come across and say, look, they only spent $5 million on this thing, then Nate and I would be like, oh, well,
I don't know that they spent.
I guess there's not much we can say.
I don't know.
That's not really out there, like, but they're not going to be competing with Disney if they're only spending that kind of money. But if they're spending an ungodly amount of money on this, then we're like, well, that's a dumb move.
Whoa, hang on a moment now. We live in a world where the Joker cost $55 million to make and earned over $1 billion at the box office. I'm not.
Joker cost $55 million to make because it had Joaquin Phoenix in it. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get at here. If Daily Wire really wants to compete with the big boys, they need to start bringing in the big boys. That was the right idea when they bought that one movie and all that kind of business and stuff like that. And then the Gina Carano one made a little bit more sense. Now, if they would have put a little bit more money behind it, advertising and all that kind of business, maybe it'd have done a little bit better. That's what I'm trying to say here is if they want to compete, then they got to pull a DreamWorks. They got to bring in people like Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and all that kind of business and come up with something like Shrek and do something to compete on a level, with them. Because at this point, what kind of level are they even trying to compete on? If this is just like an add-on, like you're saying, where they didn't spend any real money on it, fine, whatever. Then at the end of the day, it's just a couple $1 million they threw away on this lady's dream job, I guess, to be in a movie. They got to do a little bit more for me to take them seriously is all I'm saying, Culture.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair point. And I guess that's where I come in. Argument. Well, that's where I come in and I say that they should have hired. That's where I come in and I say to be taken seriously, they shouldn't have hired one of their hosts. I think that's pretty fair.
All right. Well, you guys are down. Well, Tom's starting to sound like the Mary Sue. So, I'm
just pissing on you, dude. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god. Right. Moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get off this topic super quick. So